Hey, good Friday morning, y'all. I'm about to give you guys the latest update. The 11 a.m. update from the National Hurricane Center just came out about potential tropical cyclone number 16. So I want to break down those details for you. Not too much change, but we did see it get a little bit stronger. Those max winds are now at 60 miles per hour. So I'm going to pull this up on my phone. That way I can see if you guys ask any questions during the live stream so I can try to answer them as best as I can. So once I do that and have this pulled up, we will begin. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We are looking at some rain outside today. It's kind of a gloomy, soggy day across the entire area. So I just got this pulled up on my phone. Now that way, if you guys do have any questions, just shoot them in the comments. It might be 10-15 second delay, but I'll do my best to answer those in real time for you. So here's a look at the latest track. Again, still a potential tropical cyclone. We are expecting this to become Nestor later this afternoon. Maybe the 2 o'clock update, if not probably the 5 o'clock. I do think it'll be in one of these next ones, as it is getting a little bit better of an appearance on satellite, just lacking a very well-defined center. That's why it's going to most likely be subtropical. It doesn't have all those tropical characteristics. But wind's still getting stronger in that quadrant that we'll be seeing on the northeast side. Right now, 60 miles per hour with gusts of 70 miles per hour. So we can take a better look at this track for you. Over the next day or two, we're going to be seeing it strengthen a bit this afternoon. Landfall now forecast early tomorrow morning. Right now, you see that icon around 8 a.m. is when it's going to be pushing onshore around Panama City Beach, Mexico Beach, those same areas that saw Michael just a little bit more than a year ago. Now, the landfall point, it's the only similarity with this storm and Michael. This will be nothing like it. Max winds almost 100 miles per hour less. So we're not expecting those impacts to be anything similar to that, but it is going to be hitting that area, which doesn't need it. Regardless, heavy rainfall looks to be one of the primary threats. Also, some nocturnal overnight tornadoes. We could see some water spouts push onshore. These aren't going to be big EF3, 4, 5s or massive tornadoes, but those little spin-ups, which could prompt some tornado warnings overnight. So you're going to want to be staying weather aware here. We're going to be with you all night. We got a special morning show running tomorrow during the storm that you guys can tune into before Good Morning America, and we'll be on social media all night as well. Again, we'll have people here for you. So if you do have questions, make sure to download our app, follow us on social media. Let's get into it now. We are going to look at the potential tropical cyclone 16 here. This is what it looks like on satellite. Look how disorganized this system is. Typically, when you see these tropical systems getting into tropical storms, hurricanes, you have very symmetrical look around the center of the low. That's why this is subtropical. This is not your very classic look here. All this convection, all the moisture is on the right side of it. It's right over here. This is what we're going to be seeing on the right side of the storm. Again, that cone takes it over towards the Emerald Coast, Panama City, but all the moisture, all the heavy rainfall, some of those strongest winds, that's what we're getting, because we're going to be on that kind of dirty side, the right side of the storm. Susan, will it make it to a Cat 1? Doesn't look like it. It is forecast to stay as a tropical or subtropical storm, but those winds will stay below 74 miles per hour. So fingers crossed. It doesn't look like we'll see too much more strengthening here, maybe just a little bit before it makes it to land, but below hurricane strength. So that's what it looks like. This morning, 5 a.m., they did put out tropical storm warnings. They extended those to the entire Big Bend. You see pretty much Tallahassee eastward down I-10. All those counties shaded in orange. We are expecting the tropical storm force conditions within the next 36 hours. Realistically, they will begin probably shortly after midnight as those winds pick up. And we'll look at the wind speeds for you here in a second. Again, I'm going to try to answer most of those questions before y'all even have time to ask them. Here's a look at the storm surge warnings. Those are from Indian Pass all the way down towards Clearwater. So all this water is going to be kind of getting pushed onshore towards the bay, and it has nowhere to go. And we are going to be seeing a high tide early tomorrow morning. So National Weather Service, the Hurricane Center, they're saying up to a 5-foot increase is possible from your normal high tide time. So that's going to be probably inundating some areas up and down the coast there. If you do live on the immediate coast, again, listen to local authorities and what they kind of tell you to do. But beside the coastal communities, inland flooding was still going to be an issue, but not very widespread. We will be seeing some locally high rainfall amounts. Let's take a look at your forecast and focus. This really times it out and gives you a good idea of what we're expecting on the radar. Now, if you live down on the coast, to the Gulf Coast, further south, you're probably seeing light rain. It's a real gloomy day. Temperature's a little chilly. We're seeing light rainfall. It's going to be like that all day. This deep tropical moisture continues to work onshore. By later tonight after sunset, here you go, towards 9, 10, 11, that's when the widespread rain starts to fill in here along I-10 and through parts of southern Georgia. We're going to continue to see this stuff push onshore. pretty much all morning tomorrow. Just nonstop waves of rain. At times could be light and breezy. At times you could have some heavy rainfall moving through. And again, you can't rule out those nocturnal tornadoes. Most of them would just be weak, some water spouts pushing on shore. But again, it is likely that we might see some spin-ups there through those overnight hours, especially in the early part of the storm as those initial bands start to push up overnight. So that's something that you're going to want to be staying weather aware for. Again, usually get those watches, warnings, alerts on your phone. If you have our Storm Shield app, it'll put you on the list to get those as notifications, and that'll be important to wake you up in the middle of the night. Again, we don't want to wake you up in the middle of the night, but if you got a tornado warning, you're going to need to get in your safe place, and if there is a tornado warning, we'll be with you. So through tomorrow morning, here we are at 5 a.m., continue to see pretty much widespread rainfall. 9 a.m. is some of the heaviest stuff that's going to be pushing through as that center works through. You'll be seeing some of the strongest winds. Right now, the strongest winds are sustained around 60 miles per hour. We shouldn't see numbers that high, at least inland, like Tallahassee. Coastal areas will see the strongest winds. Inland here in Tallahassee, sustained 25 to 35 maybe. I'm thinking that's a pretty good bet with some gusts in excess of 40, 45, maybe 50 miles per hour. So even though it's just a subtropical storm, or will be right now a potential tropical cyclone, it's still going to be a strong storm, but nothing like a Michael or a hurricane of that magnitude, as it's just going to make for a really crummy day of weather tomorrow. If you got outside plans, again, goes without saying, probably not a good idea. Around lunchtime, that's when some of these areas start to finally clear out. Southern Georgia will still be in the thick of it at noon, but if you look towards kind of areas south of I-10 along the coast, this moisture starts to exit. So for your plans tomorrow here, by 3, 4, 5 o'clock, winds start to let up a little bit. Most of that rain starts moving into those inland areas of Georgia, into South Carolina, and over towards the Atlantic. 8 o'clock Saturday evening, we're quieting down. Now it's still going to be breezy. You're probably going to have some downed trees. I would imagine that we'll have some localized power outages thanks to these winds. You get some localized power outages in normal summertime thunderstorms. So definitely not going to rule that out. But we are going to be seeing that kind of breezy, dreary weather through most of tomorrow. Now Sunday actually looks like a nice day. So the good news is that this isn't a total weekend ruiner, not a total washout, but Saturday certainly not going to be the great day. Here's the rainfall totals from that model that we just showed you. It does have this kind of swath of areas along I-10 and the Big Bend here, coastal areas, Wakulla, Franklin, you got Leon counties, all seeing in excess of 5, 6, 7 inches of rain tomorrow. That's going to be a lot of rain. For most of us, this is going to be good drought relief. Again, we need rain. A lot of us, a couple inches, not going to hurt you. But start seeing 5, 6, 7, 8 inches, that's too much rain. We can't handle all that at once. What you need to do today, if you haven't yet, sandbags, if you are worried about any water coming into your home, get those filled up today. There's plenty of locations around the Big Bend giving those out. We have them listed on our website. Fill those up, protect your home. Another thing that you could do is clear out storm drains and gutters. We did see some rain earlier this week, at least most of us did, and that probably got some debris down there. So if you do have drains or gutters at your house or out in the street in front of your house, go check them today, just real quick, take a minute or two. If you see any palm fronds, if you see any branches there, pull them out, make sure that water has a place to run off. That will be very important because you're not going to be able to do it tomorrow, and it's much better if that water's going in the storm drain than in your house. Again, sandbag's going to be important there. Here's a look at the wind field forecast. So what does this mean? That, well, how strong are your winds going to be tomorrow? You see the yellow area, that's 39 to 53 miles per hour. That's kind of a weaker tropical storm. 54 to 73 miles per hour, that orange shaded area, that's a strong tropical storm. No red, that's hurricane strength. Not going to be seeing those hurricane strength winds. So the highest winds, those are going to be right along the coast. Moving in shortly after midnight, we will see those strong tropical storm force winds, 50 mile per hour plus, work in early tomorrow morning. This is when we're making landfall, right around 7, 8 a.m. on the coast, and the actual center is going to be over here. And again, the left side of this storm, the west half, it's nothing really. We are getting the dirty side of the storm pushing on shore with the highest rainfall totals, strongest winds, and the worst storm surge. It's just kind of how this storm is shaped out to be because it is so disorganized, and this is more typical in early and late season storms. You don't get those kind of classic tropical characteristics of it. So as that goes through, we're going to see those strong winds. Strongest winds in Tallahassee probably middle to late morning. Around 9, 10, 11 a.m. we'll be seeing the strongest stuff. You see that little orange core here. That'll die out as it continues to move inland, and we'll see those winds slowly start to exit southern Georgia by late in the afternoon. So timing, again, it's going to begin tonight for most of our coastal areas, but southern Georgia, you got a little bit later, till late tomorrow morning throughout the afternoon. Here in Tallahassee, after midnight, early morning, that main threat's going to be 8, 9, 10 o'clock. So that's when we're going to be seeing the strongest winds, the heaviest rainfall. Those morning plans, again, not ideal. This is sustained winds, miles per hour. By tonight, look at the coast. This is 5 a.m. We're seeing sustained winds in the 30s, which, again, that's pretty windy. But it's not blowing houses down or all the trees down or anything. It's not a forest clear like Michael was. So we got that going for us. Now, again, it's still going to be a nasty day tomorrow. So if you got plans outside, wouldn't suggest it. Our threats, not looking at hail as a threat. Again, this is not something like that. The biggest threat's going to be flooding. Inland flooding, coastal flooding. We're going to be seeing, I just got a notification on my phone of Franklin County with some mandatory evacuations up and down the coast. So you guys might want to check that out. It said for the campgrounds in the low-lying areas, urged to move to higher ground. And again, for our coastal areas, it's not exactly just because the storm itself and the winds are too strong, but that storm surge inundation is going to be serious. There are storm surge warnings in effect from Indian Pass all the way down to Clearwater. And they're saying more than 5 feet above normal tide levels. High tide will be in the morning. So flooding, that's going to be our biggest threat, especially with inland flooding when you see 4, 5, 6 inches of rainfall. It's a lot of rain. Tornadoes, it's definitely a threat. Now, the good news is none of these tornadoes will be too strong, but you could see some of those water spouts with a handful of warnings popping up at once. That threat should be for the earlier portion of the storm overnight. Again, once this thing moves inland, we're not looking at that tornado threat as much. Winds, you're going to be seeing sustained winds around 30, 35, and you could see some gusts in excess of 40, 50, 60 miles per hour. Again, it's getting stronger right now, but still expected to stay below hurricane strength. So that's what is probably the best thing, is that we're not seeing a hurricane out of this. Basics, well, timing, as we mentioned, overnight, all morning tomorrow, early afternoon, especially in southern Georgia. Heavy rainfall, rough seas, coastal inundation, thanks to that storm surge. Upper level winds, keeping this thing from getting that classic tropical look, keeping it from getting too strong. So that's good for us. Again, if you guys have any questions, shoot them in the comments. And if not, I think that we can probably wrap this up soon. We'll do one more kind of run through of these graphics just to give you guys one last look at them. And then I'm going to have to get ready for a midday show, which you can tune into at noon on ABC 27. And we're going to be talking more about this, of course. Here's that track for you as you head up through parts of the Emerald Coast. That'll be by tomorrow morning. But these impacts with the heavy rainfall will be felt much sooner than that. And you can see, I keep saying, even though it's making landfall to our west, we're seeing that dirty side of it. Those bright oranges, those are cooler colors in the cloud tops, and that's indicating some stronger storms over there. That's where the strongest winds are, right in this right quadrant, around 60 miles per hour. They have the Air Force Hurricane Hunters. They're actually flying through it right now, doing recon missions, and that's where we're getting this data from. Tropical storm warnings, they expanded those to the entire coverage area for pretty much North Florida there, the Big Bend at least, all shaded in orange. That includes offshore waters and all the way over towards Mobile in lower Alabama. So could see more of those. Right now, this is what we're working with. Storm surge warnings, Indian Pass all the way down to Clearwater Beach, more than 5 feet above normal tide levels early tomorrow morning. That's why those coastal areas in Franklin County are being evacuated. Could see some more of those through the day. Again, just kind of got to play it by ear at this point. Here's one last look at your forecast and focus. This is going to show you that radar walking through overnight. That's when we're going to be seeing those impacts. What kind of winds and rain for Thomasville? Here you go, Sheila. We're about to walk through it right now. You see Thomasville up there through southern Georgia. This rain is going to be widespread tomorrow morning for everybody. Down the coast, up through southern Georgia, southeast Alabama. We're all seeing it tomorrow morning. But we're going to clear out a little earlier down along the coast, and southern Georgia will kind of have those lingering effects for those folks in Thomasville. Here you are at noon. Heavy rain starting to clear out by about 4 or 5 o'clock. You're still going to have a chance for some light rain after 4 or 5 o'clock probably, as we'll be seeing lingering shower activities wrapping around the backside. But the strongest of the winds, those should be dying down in the afternoon. Are there any evacuation orders for Wakulla? Not that I am aware of right now. That's not to say that couldn't change in the next couple hours, but I am not aware of any down in Wakulla County right now. I think that if Franklin County just put out some mandatory evacuations, we'll probably get a running article going on our website of any that are listed now that we do have one. So if so, we're going to get that link up. I got the notification on my phone. Again, our WTXL app pushes that stuff out to you. But Wakulla County, not that I'm aware of. I can't say for certain, but I do not think so. We'll keep our eyes on that. And again, we got midday coming up in about 43 minutes, our noon show. We'll have more details on all the tropics. We'll have more details on any closures. They canceled the FAMU game tomorrow. Canceled a bunch of high school football games tomorrow, moving those to Sunday and Monday, which is a good idea. Being proactive about these things. Again, that is good. And as we mentioned, it's not one of these storms that you got to go out and get your entire supply kit all beefed up, but maybe top it off if you can. Be prepared for a day or two, maybe three without power. It's possible. It's unlikely. I think most of us should be okay, but there should be some sporadic power outages across Tallahassee and the entire area, especially further down on the coast. But this is not a Michael. We're not going to be seeing impacts even close to that. Winds about 100 miles per hour less. This is going to be more of a heavy rain threat, storm surge threat, those folks up and down the coast, that coastal inundation. That's going to be what we're looking out for here. And it's a quick mover, so that's good. We're not going to be, looking at these major hurricane force winds for hours and hours and hours on end. It's going to be a nasty morning and overnight. So when you wake up tomorrow, expect some strong storms rolling through. And by the afternoon, we're starting to clear out already. So that's good. We're going to handle it. We're going to cover it. Again, it could always be worse than this, especially this time of the year. But drops are winding down. This could be our last thing. Rainfall totals again. They're going to be pretty impressive. That's what our main threat is, especially up and down the coast. So as long as you guys clear out storm drains, gutters, make sure water's got a place to go, sandbag, do that today if you need to. Make those last second preps before the sun goes down tonight, because that is when things will begin for us. So if you guys don't have any more questions, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to get ready for our midday show at noon. Tune in. Again, Cass will be here, our chief meteorologist, Casanova Nurse, and he will have updates for you when the National Hurricane Center puts them out. That will be at 2 o'clock. It'll be at 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 11 o'clock, every 3 hours. He's going to be updating y'all, and I will be back in tomorrow morning on a Saturday. We're going to have a special show tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., and that'll lead into Good Morning America, where we'll also be doing live cut-ins for 2 hours. So through tomorrow morning, we'll be with you through the storm. If there's any tornado warnings, we will be on air. We'll be here on Facebook. This might be easier for a lot of folks. Follow us on social media again. We're going to be with you through this whole storm. So I hope that y'all have a good rest of your Friday, enjoying those cooler temperatures while we can. Go get your sandbags, go clear out your storm drains and gutters. I'm going to get ready for our midday show, and I will see you guys in about 40 minutes. Thanks.